Morgan, and I am a Knoxville native. I am running for school board here in District 5. I didn't grow up in the Farragut area, but I was close by. Weird, and I don't say that too loud. I just don't into the whole room. It doesn't fly as well as the high school when I say that, though. So I have lived in Farragut for the last 7.5 years. I've lived in District 5 for the last 12 years, and I love this place. I love this community. I am passionate about the people here. I'm passionate about the kids and our students, and that's kind of what led me to deciding to run for the Board of Ed seat here. I have 3 kids that are in 3 of the 4 Farragut schools here. So every day I take my kids and I drop one at Farragut Intermediate, and then I go and I drop the next one at Farragut Primary, and then I go and I drop my oldest at Farragut Middle. And so every single day I see what's going on in our schools through my kids. I see what is happening on a personal level for our students, like the time that my daughter got moved into a new intervention group and didn't have a chair to sit on because we didn't have enough chairs for our 4th graders that were struggling with math. And I see what's happening culturally in, as you all know, things we talk about every time in this group, the stuff that's happening on a bigger level. And so I cannot just sit by and watch stuff happen. I have to jump in, and I want to make a difference here. So I actually graduated from the University of Tennessee and then did my dietetic internship at the University of Maryland. And after about 2.5 years of living up there, I came back to Tennessee knowing that this is the best place to be and the best place to raise a family. So I am here. I'm here for the long haul. My kids know Tennessee as home, and really excited to be a part of this community and to be on the ballot. And I'm going to be honored to have your vote for the Board of Education. Any questions?
Yeah. Questions?
Oh yeah.
She's ready.
Bring it. Yes.
What do you personally hope to accomplish as a school board member?
That's a great question. So personally, I have a lot of things. I have a list that I keep in the notes app on my phone of what I want to do on the school board. And there's a lot. I think it's important that we work together as a board to make some really great changes to make our schools the best schools in the state of Tennessee. And I want to be part of working with a board that is good at doing that. And then I want to do things that impact our kids. Like I said, there's no reason that any of our students should be learning without chairs to sit in. So I would like to make sure that their basic needs as students are met, whether that's making sure they have school supplies that they need, resources, whether it's making sure that they're staffed appropriately or that we have enough substitutes so that when a teacher's out, our kids are not split. There, a couple years ago, my daughter's class got split 16 times in one school year. So the class would be split into like 5 or 6 groups and go to different teachers. And I don't know how we expect our students to learn in that environment or to achieve in that environment. So I really want to see what we need here. And then I also want to make sure that we're holding the values that we have here in this room and holding the line on those and making sure that our students are first and that they are valued and that they're kept safe in their schools.
How do you think that you can do without the federal money?
Now, that's a good question. You know, I would say, so the money that has come, that has provided things like tutoring that they're doing right now in the schools has been, it's really been nice. It's been the first time that I as a parent, and my oldest is in 6th grade, so the first time in all of those years that I have seen Knox County schools do things for kids that aren't just in that bottom 10th percentile, or maybe 25th, put them in an intervention group, but they're actually going to kids who maybe scored in the 40th percentile, but have a little bit of a deficit there, and providing something for them. And that's actually one of my priorities in running for school board, is making sure that we meet each student where they're at and providing an excellent education for them. So whether that's our gifted students and challenging them where they're at instead of just passing them on because they're going to achieve high test scores so they don't need the help. Like we shouldn't be doing that. We should be providing a challenging education for them as well. Or whether it's meeting a student that kind of falls in the middle, but let's help them do better where they are. for our students that do have special needs and that have IEPs and stuff like that. So, looking at the numbers, it's a good question, and I don't know, I would have to look at it more and see, but I know that personally, my family has seen big benefit from the programs that have come from that, such as the tutoring, where it's 3 kids, 1 person, 3 times a week. That's really impacting what they're doing. So we definitely need to figure out a way to implement and continue to do those things, irregardless of what happens with the money.
How are you on the woke agenda?
How am I on the woke agenda?
Woke agenda.
Well, that's a popular question. As one of the top questions that I've heard when I've been door knocking. So I think that it's really important, like I said, about preserving the values that we have. And I'm assuming that all of us in this room who have come out to this have somewhat of the same values there. And you know, the people who are teaching my kids and standing at the front of the classroom, they spend more time with them every day than I do. And that is concerning if you don't have the right people. And it is concerning if you have somebody who is right there teaching them, and they're teaching them woke things, and that this is the right way to do stuff. And I could give you very specific examples of stuff that has happened in my kids' classes and schools. And I think it's really important that we continue to guide our kids and make sure that we're keeping the schools safe. We don't need to be perpetuating a woke culture to our students. What we need to be focused on is our students and their success and achievement, and part of that is not the woke culture. So we need to be back to the academics and how we're helping students grow and thrive, and not be focusing on cultural things that are happening.
How are the teachers monitored as far as what they're teaching?
Yeah, that's a good question. So they
What
have
was the question?
He asked, how are the teachers monitored as far as what they're teaching? Did I get that right? Okay. Sometimes I wonder about my short-term memory. So there is a curriculum that is used, and I know at our schools here, the teachers, well, I can't speak for all the schools. I know, say for instance, in the intermediate school year, you will have all of the 5th grade ELA teachers meet together and go over the curriculum and what they're teaching. And so they're all teaching on the same page. Same thing with social studies and that sort of thing. So that's the kind of what they do for the curriculum and making sure that they're teaching the same things. Now, if you're asking about accountability in terms of holding our teachers to standards and looking at data to see how they're doing, then that's a different issue. That may not be what you're asking about, or it might be.
I just want to know, are they, sure, they have a curriculum, but what are they really,
Teaching them?
yeah, what's really going on in the classroom?
You know, it's hard to know, and I think that's kind of the scary thing. And that's one of the reasons why I, as a mom, have been very involved in our kids' schools. Because, like I said, my kids are spending all day there with people, and I don't know what's happening, right? So I know the answer is, well, this is their curriculum, and they're all teaching the same thing. But really, none of us know, with short of having a camera in there and watching what's going on. So for me personally, I started volunteering when my oldest went to kindergarten, and I spent time every week in the classroom helping out, and I had to get my eyes and ears in there to know what they were teaching and what was happening and how do I feel about this situation for my sweet little one who's now a middle schooler and slightly less sweet these days. And being on the PTO boards and things like that, and I have served on the PTO board at the intermediate school and the primary school, and that has kept me in the loop where I can kind of know what's going on more. But shy of that, I think most people really don't know what's going on in our classrooms. And I would say we had that experience my daughter's 3rd grade year. I really did not find out until about halfway through the year that it was not going well in there, and she wasn't being taught the things she was supposed to be taught, and she was being taught things that I really didn't want her to be taught, and so that was a very eye-opening experience for me. Yes.
Thank you so much for being here. So I have 3 kids who have all been through every school in Farragut. Well, the 2 have not been to high school yet. They're currently in middle school. I was made aware by one of the teachers that when they're at the end of the lesson, and they don't have anything further to teach in that lesson, and they can't move on to the next part, they can teach it in the and so I think that's where the missing piece is.
That's interesting.
I have an email too, which is really scary. So what can we do about combating that? Can we dive into that more? Because that's scary.
It is scary, and I think that's definitely something that right, and I think people don't know. Like, I did not know that, and I would guess a lot of people didn't know that, and I would think people sitting on the board don't know that, parents across the county. So I do think that's something that should be brought to the light, and something should be addressed, something should be done about that, because you're right, it is concerning for someone to just have the freedom to do what they think is best to get their kids.
I'm sorry. Did you get your question answered pretty well? We are limited to 10 minutes each. I wish we could continue this